Hi, everybody. It's Dan back from vacation. Kuntz. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on this Tuesday, the 11th day of February, 2020. I'm back. I took my traditional first week in February vacation, headed south to Arizona, Phoenix specifically, to accomplish three things. Find some warm sunshine, some top-notch golf courses, and lower my handicap. I accomplished two of those things while I was gone. Special thanks to my friend Eric Cranstrom for filling in for me for the last week and day. I appreciate it, but now it's back to whatever it is that I do, and I'm still trying to figure out what it is that I do. I've still got a little vacation brain going on. You know how it is. You take some time off, you're completely out of touch, and you get back, and you got to answer emails and all that stuff. And anyway, we'll get there. Got some good stuff for you today. Beautiful day in store for us. We had a gorgeous day yesterday, topped off at 48 degrees. We'll be in the 40s again today with quite a bit of sunshine, a little bit of a blip weather-wise towards the back half of the week, and then a pretty good-looking weekend coming our way as well. This is the juxtaposition between this year, February, specifically February 2020, compared to February of 2019 is light and day. You remember last February, we had like 25 inches of snow. We got above the freezing mark twice the entire month. It was just a cold, nasty, gnarly February of last year, and this year it's just been very benign and very beautiful, and we're in for a pretty good-looking week as well. But I wanted to remind people about last year anyway. Quick heads up, it is election day, special election day on this Tuesday. The big school districts, Wenatchee and Eastmont here in the Wenatchee Valley, they're not running anything, but if that ballot's been sitting on your kitchen table or on your desk or whatever and you haven't filled it out yet, you got to by today. In Chelan County, you got school measures for Cashmere, Aniat, Lake Chelan, and also in Chelan County Fire District number 9 has a ballot on. And then you'll be making some school measure decisions in Douglas County in Brewster, Bridgeport, Mansfield, Orondo, and Waterville. So today's the day to get your ballots in. Don't forget about that. We'll have some results, by the way, coming your way tomorrow on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. The conversation portion of this program is one that we taped about 10 days ago. It's our friends from Confluence Health. We love Confluence Health. They come down once a month and we talk health. And the topic today is migraine headaches. How to give them? No, it's the cause, how you can prevent them, how do you get rid of them. They're on the very cutting edge at Confluence Health on treating migraine headaches, and Dr. Tara Anderson and also Emma Philley from Confluence Health are in their migraine study department. Big important stuff. That's a great conversation. You don't want to miss that. Comes up in the back half of the hour. Let's get moving. I've been wasting enough time as it is. At the end of the show, we'll see if I can balance some room. 3 minutes after the hour, let's take you around the valley with our Valley View camera. It's good to be working with my friend Megan again, who is behind the wheel, as it will, driving the bus. And there's a beautiful view of the valley proper. A couple of high clouds hanging out there. The one thing out there I probably should mention weather-wise today, going to be a little breezy. Outside of that, it's almost a carbon copy of yesterday, maybe a little bit cooler. We're at 30 degrees right now in the valley. Gorgeous view. Sunrise almost here, 7:13. Sunset tonight, 5:18. Give us 10 hours and 5 minutes of daylight. It's a happening deal. Come on, winter. You can get out of here anytime you want, even though, who's kidding, it really hasn't been much of a winter, at least for here in the Wenatchee Valley. Lots of snow in the Cascades, and we'd like that. Camera number 2, it's guessing time for Dan. I don't know. That's a piece of cake. That's the Orondo Rock camera. Those lights you see in the far right over there is the backside of Rocky Ridge Dam. You can see Turtle Rock. We flew on my flight back from Pangbourne. I was on the Sunday afternoon flight. It was absolutely gorgeous. It was only 20 minutes from wheels up at SeaTac to wheels down at Pangbourne, and it was just gorgeous. And I just looked out the window of the airplane all the way from SeaTac to Pangbourne, and it was gorgeous. And we flew right over to the Turtle Rock area on the way in. It was a gorgeous day for a flight. So it reminds me about how beautiful this area is, and it really is. Good morning to our friends in Orondo and the places farther north. Camera number 3. Hello to, is that Billy Goat? That's Billy Goat, but she moved the camera on me. Megan's already trying to mess with my already addled brain on my first day back from vacation. That's the Billy Goat camera. Normally we have that pointed a little bit more to the north where you can see Brewster and Terrace, but she's pointed it a little bit more to the east as the sun begins to climb up over the beautiful Okanagan Valley. Lots of snow up there. That's a super high camera. That's over a mile in elevation above sea level, our Billy Go camera. And number 4, all of these, of course, courtesy of Localtel Sky-Fi setup. That's Blag, I believe, is it not? Hey! Good morning to our friends high above Pesheston, looking down over Leavenworth. We also flew directly over Leavenworth on Sunday afternoon on just a stunning view. It's just a beautiful day to be out and about. It's been a great stretch of weather, it really has, but it was really nice down in Arizona, as you might imagine. A little windy up there, as you can see. It's an exposed ridge, Blag Mountain, which is high above the Pesheston area. That's what we're talking about today. Just a little bit of wind. Outside of that, we're looking good on this Tuesday. It is 6 minutes after the hour, thanks to Localtel and their Sky-Fi setup for bringing us those cameras blowing around, if they will. All right, from the National Weather Service, first thing we have to show for you is the van coming in. Boom, there it is. From Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, they give your home a hug. Dry weather, pretty quiet. Not a lot happening. Lots of sunshine today. A little windy, that's about it. Yeah, I call it breezy. Northwest wind about 5 to 13 miles an hour. We'll top off at 45. We hit 48 yesterday. By the way, it's 32 outside of our studios here. Clear tonight, 31 for the overnight low. Lots of sunshine Wednesday. We do it again. Just a couple of clouds here and there. High of 44. Little bit of system coming in on Wednesday night. Not a big thing. Just going to mix things up a little bit. Clouds will be thickening up Wednesday night. We'll get down to 30. On Thursday, slight chance of some light rain. Outside of that, pretty cloudy and a high of about 42, as you see there. Thursday night, 29 for the overnight low. Slight chance of some light rain under partly cloudy skies. Snow level is going to get down to about 1,000 feet, but there's nothing out there. But when the snow level gets down to that low, you still got to mention it. Friday, you see the clouds, but it's actually going to be sunny on Friday with a high near 45 degrees. Just substitute the cloud for the sun on Friday in your own mind, and you got it. No complaints about the week. Look at that. Apparently, Sunday is going to be a lot like Friday. Lots of sunshine, but with a cloud there. Just one big cloud. We're kidding. Yeah, we're in for quite a bit of sunshine again. Going to be fairly cloudy, partly cloudy Thursday night. A few clouds here and there on Friday night. Outside of that, it's actually going to be sunny. Please ignore the cloud for the most part. There's your outlook for the rest of the week for today through Wednesday. Again, dry. Just a couple of mountain flurries. You're going to have no problems in the mountain passes for the rest of the week. A few light winds. Very pleasant, very quiet. Thursday into Sunday, things get a little unsettled for some locations, but really not for the Wenatchee Valley. The lee of the Cascades is going to keep us well protected. So there you go. That's our look at the weather. And at 8 minutes after the hour, let's take you up to the major mountain passes. There we go. There's really not a lot to talk about. There's no advisories, no restrictions on any of the major mountain passes. You're good to go. You're bare and dry on I-90. Buckle up, head on down the road. You'll have just a good time. Stevens Pass, no advisories, no restrictions. Roadways bare and dry. There you go. It looks. Wow, doesn't it look snowy up there? It's not. It's fine. You're good to go. Roadways bare and dry on Stevens. No advisories, no restrictions. Blue Pass camera I don't think is working right now, but the roadways. Oh, it is. There it is. Oh, let's wave to the trucker. Hi, buddy. How are ya? Looks like he's delivering produce for Safeway. In any event, blue it is fine. No snow at all in the forecast really today. I did, a scattered snowflake. It's the mountains. You can always expect maybe a flake or two. Kind of like this show. A little bit of snow Tuesday, a little bit of snow Tuesday night. Really nothing. The next significant snowfall is going to be Thursday in the mountain passes. Even that's not going to be very much. 3 inches tops. So nothing that the plows can't handle. A couple of inches perhaps in the major mountain passes on Friday. But outside of that, we are doing mighty fine indeed. 9 minutes after the hour. Going to take a break and come back with your Tuesday morning news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley live this morning from Studio 1 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Live channel.
It's time to renew your body and mind. It's time for Stressless. Now at Boswell's. Save hundreds with a free leather upgrade or $300 on the immensely popular Stressless Sunrise, featuring innovative ergonomic comfort systems and multiple sizes for a personalized fit. Don't wait. It's time for Stressless. Proud to be endorsed by the American Chiropractic Association. Shop Boswell's, 2915 Easy Street in Wenatchee.
When you think of Doghouse Motorsports, you might think of motorcycles, but there's a lot more in this house. How about Honda power equipment? From snowblowers to lawnmowers to generators and even water pumps, Honda is the brand that sets the standards. Perhaps you need an ATV or UTV. The Doghouse has the largest selection anywhere. Did we mention watercraft and snowmobiles? And of course, we have motorcycles too. Back it up with terrific customer service and you have Wenatchee's best motorsports store 5 years running. Isn't it time for you to be in the doghouse?
11 minutes after the hour, quite a bit of sunshine. The sun's just coming up over the east Wenatchee bench. We're at 32 degrees. Lots of sunshine today, lots of sunshine tomorrow. A couple of clouds on Thursday, quite a bit of sunshine, and very mild temperatures right into the weekend. Here's what's making headlines. And we start out with a couple of shootings to talk about. Quincy police, they're looking for at least 2 suspects in an early Sunday morning drive-by shooting that injured a 21-year-old man. Brian Lopez of Quincy, treated and released at Quincy Valley Hospital. He suffered a gunshot wound to his arm. The shooting happened again about 3 a.m. in the morning on Sunday in the area of 4th Avenue Southeast and C Street Southeast. Captain Ryan Green to the Quincy Police Department said Lopez was walking back to his apartment from a convenience store when he noticed a black BMW with tinted windows slowly following him. Well, he began running when a passenger in the BMW started shooting at him. Lopez told police he has no idea why he was targeted. Investigators reported finding several 9mm shell casings at the site. Anybody with any information on this shooting is asked to contact the Quincy Police Department. And another shooting, this one up in Omak, and it happened on early Monday morning. We left one man hospitalized, another in police custody. Omak Police Chief Jeff Copland says 26-year-old Dallas Wilson jailed after allegedly shooting 40-year-old Nathaniel Harris in the abdomen with a 9mm pistol. The gunshots rang out during a fight on North Juniper Street about 2 in the morning. Again, this was yesterday morning. Harris is in stable condition in Mid-Valley Hospital. Wilson booked into the Okanagan County Jail on suspicion of first-degree assault. Copland said the 2 men apparently fought over a woman. Well, after more than a year of study, the Chelan-Douglas Transportation Council has ideas for improving traffic safety from Coles Corner all the way in to Cashmere on Highway 2. It's the Highway 2 traffic proposal, and it aims to alleviate congestion and increase safety along the Leavenworth corridor. Now, proposed methods include a highway roundabout at Icicle Road or an undercrossing for pedestrians so they can go from one side of the highway to the other in Leavenworth. All the options on the table are out there for public comment. The meeting will be this Thursday at 5:30 at the Cascade High School cafeteria. Well, Wenatchee officials want your input on plans for Confluence Parkway. That's a possible bridge and road project on the north end of the city of Wenatchee. If it goes through, the project would add a north-south bypass route that runs parallel to North Wenatchee Avenue, as well as a second bridge across the Wenatchee River. It would also mean changes for the Haran Natural Area and the Loop Trail. The city will host an open house on the project. It'll be at 5 o'clock in the afternoon on March 5th at the Confluence Technology Center. The Douglas County man who is accused of allowing 4 dogs to attack a jogger is barred from possessing animals while he awaits trial. 62-year-old Timothy Dale Houston. He lives on Badger Mountain. He was released without bond Friday after a hearing in Chelan County Court. Houston allegedly was sleeping in a parked car back on January 23rd when his dogs severely mauled a passing jogger on number 2 Canyon Road. He faces arraignment on February 19th on charges of owning vicious animals. All 4 of the dogs involved in the attack were eventually euthanized. Finally, this morning, a cherry orcharding enterprise led by grower Kyle Matheson is suing Chelan County and Chelan County's Director of Natural Resources. The lawsuit was filed Friday by Matheson's company, Wheeler Ridge LLC, and it says in the lawsuit the county overstepped their legal authority to conserve land in the Stemilt Basin for wildlife and recreation and stymied the company's plans for 250 acres of cherry orchard on land it owns in the area. Wheeler Ridge says Natural Resources Director Mike Caputa should have recused himself from the permitting process because at the same time he was managing the public-private Stemilt Partnership to preserve forest in the Stemilt and Squilchuck Basin. Overall, Wheeler Ridge says it suffered more than $16 million in lost income and added costs due to the county's actions. The case was filed in Douglas County Superior Court. And now you're in the loop on this Tuesday morning at 14 minutes after the hour. The news crew back out of the game. We got a good news crew. They work hard. You're going to meet one of our news crews, by the way, by the time this week is over. In the meantime, the preview of tonight's news. Here's the anchor, Grant Olson.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, a memorial service will be held March 14th to honor Kamiko Nale, who died January 24th when she was buried by snow that had fallen from the roof of her home. Wenatchee Valley Chamber of Commerce Executive Director Shiloh Burgess voices her concerns about the future of the region's economy. I'll have your complete North Central Washington weather forecast, and Eric Granstrom will be in with a look at the day's sports action. All that and more coming up tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. Dan, welcome back, and we hope to see everyone then.
Thanks, Grant. It is. It's good to be back. As John Denver once said, it's good to be back home. And I don't even much care for John Denver's music. Look at the bottom of your screen. That's the way you can get a hold of us. I'm a music freak. Well, I don't know. I never got that. Get a hold of us via our Facebook page. And thanks to getting over the 19,000 likes, we got free breakfast yesterday. So let's make it to 20 and see if we can get prime rib dinner. Go to our Facebook page. Give us a quick thumbs up. Drop us a line via Facebook Messenger. You can email us directly. That's a great idea. News@ncwlife.com. News@ncwlife.com. Or if you go to our website, ncwlife.com, you'll see a Contact Us icon at the very top of the screen. Click on it. Up pops a form. Fill it out. Drop us a note. We'd love to hear from you. Going to take a break. When we come back, we got sports, the obscure holiday today in history. We got some celebrity birthdays. Everybody's entitled to Mike McNally's opinion, and our friends from Confluence Health talking about migraine headaches. It's a busy Tuesday. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Walkabout Grill, open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner in downtown Wenatchee and now downtown Leavenworth, where eating out is eating healthy.
It's going on 4 decades of doing business in the Wenatchee Valley. And I want people to know that it matters. It matters to me that people choose to do business with us. It matters that people trust us. Trust us. That matters more than anything.
Boy, good looking sunrise. 18 minutes after the hour. Lots of sunshine today. Highs will be in the mid-40s. That's pretty much the forecast. Right into the weekend. Let's talk about sports. Last week of the regular season for all the area high school basketball teams, and for a couple of teams, it's the last game they're going to play, as a matter of fact, such is the case with the Eastmont Wildcat girls basketball team. They got their only win in the Big Nine schedule last Friday over Davis, and the Eastmont girls wrap up their season on the road tonight. They'll take on Sunnyside at 5:45. So the Wenatchee girls will be hosting West Valley. It's senior night tonight. The Panthers will recognize 7 seniors in a ceremony prior to tonight's game. They tip it off at 5:45. Now, we're going to have it for you live on our Facebook page. Grant Olson on the play-by-play. It'll be on television on a tape delay basis following our evening news at 6:30. Tonight's game could be a preview of Wenatchee's play-in game of the district tournament next Tuesday. Wenatchee right now is the number 6 seed. They could be traveling to West Valley for a district play-in game, but with most teams in the league still playing 2 games this week, there's still some things that we don't know. The one thing we do know for sure, Moses Lake girls won the league championship, and they'll be hosting the district championship next Friday. Eastmont did not make the playoffs. The girls we're talking about. Also on the prep girls schedule tonight, Cashmere wraps up the Caribou Trail League regular season. They'll be at Okanagan at 5:45. The Antioch girls will host Easton tonight at 5:45. Senior night there. They'll recognize Gemma DeGaldo and Mika Sanford, the only 2 seniors on the roster. And in the first round of the CWAC district tournament, Ephrata travels to Grandview. They'll play a loser-out game at 7 o'clock tonight in girls basketball. The only thing for sure in the Big Nine boys race is the playoffs. The top 2 teams are set. That will be playing for the district championship. It'll be Eastmont at West Valley next Thursday at 6 o'clock for the district title. The Rams won the regular season Big Nine championship. The 2 through 6 spots in the district tournament still to be determined. Wenatchee will host West Valley tonight at 7:30. Again, just like the girls, we're going to have it live on our Facebook stream and on a tape delay basis on TV tonight. Grant Olson with play-by-play. The Panthers will finish at Moses Lake on Friday, which could be a preview to their district play-in game next Tuesday at Wenatchee High School. Eastmont boys will be at Sunnyside tonight at 7:30. The Grizzlies trying to position themselves above Davis so they can host a play-in game. The last game of the Caribou Trail League season is tonight. Okanagan Casual will take on the Bulldogs in Okanagan at 7:15. Tonight's game is also a preview of Saturday's district championship. The two teams will meet again at Eastmont High School Saturday at 7 o'clock. And speaking of which, here is our sports schedule for the week. As we mentioned, it begins tonight. We've got that doubleheader. Senior night, Wenatchee High School. The Panthers hosting West Valley. Hockey night Thursday features a game from February 1st between the Wenatchee Wild and the Coquitlam Express. Then we'll be courtside at Eastmont High School Saturday for the District 6 1A championship games between the Cashmere girls and Omak at 5, and then the Cashmere boys and Okanagan at 7. Eric Grenstrom will have your play-by-play right here on the NCW Live channel. Well, the rebuild for the Seattle Mariners, if that's what you want to call it, takes a big step tomorrow in Peoria, Arizona. I was there. Pitchers and catchers report tomorrow. Bring it on, baby. Seattle's camp will be filled with terms like prospects and position battles, rookies, youngsters. General Manager Jerry DePoto says their game plan is coming together.
Where I see us standing is further along the road than maybe we could have hoped to be in terms of the development of our young players, what we envision being the core of our roster as we move ahead. The 2019 season, in so many ways for us developmentally, could not have gone any better than it did. And, as Andy said, prospects, young players, they are going to stumble, they're going to fall, they're going to need our help getting back up. Last year, they needed almost none of that. Across the board, so many guys hit the ground running and just took off. We couldn't have expected that. So many of our trade acquisitions flourished. Many of our draftees and our international signings hit the ground, and you'd never know they were young and inexperienced. So to that extent, I think 2019 couldn't have been more successful. We knew when we walked through the door and putting together a different roster and rebuilding our team, that there was the potential for disappointment. And it was disappointing, but we took the positives away from it because we entered the season with the idea that we were going to measure our progress by how efficiently we were able to develop our young players, because that's what's going to be required for us to return to a competitive state on a timeline that satisfies our goals.
Pitchers and catchers report tomorrow. The full squad reports 1 week from today. The Mariners' first spring training game is a week from Monday when they take on San Diego. Opening day of the baseball season, 44 days away. I cannot wait. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Tuesday, 23 minutes after the hour. I had a lot of choices for the obscure holiday. Today is National Make a Friend Day. Today is Don't Cry Over Spilled Milk Day. Today is National White Shirt Day. It's National Inventors Day. We'll get to that in just a little bit, but no, the obscure holiday is today is National Peppermint Patty Day. There's something refreshing. The mixture of dark chocolate and the zing of peppermint. You would think it would have been around a long time, but it is not that old. And yep, the York Peppermint Patty was created in York, South Carolina by Thomas Ravenel in 1920. He actually made cones for a living, cones to put ice cream in. And then he did this as a sideline, and this got to be so popular that he ditched making ice cream cones and just started making this. In 1972, the York Cone Company was sold to Peter Paul, and the rest of the nation got to enjoy peppermint patties. The York peppermint patty was pretty much an East Coast thing until 1972, and then it took off. And you would think it would be around forever. I love peppermint patties. I try to stay away from them because if they're out there, I'm just going to gobble them down. And then, of course, a few years ago, they came out with the mini ones in the bag. Oh, it's decadent. I'm telling you, I love peppermint patties. It's a good thing. By the way, there's also, of course, Peppermint Patty, the Peanuts character. Charles Schulz was writing in his office one day, writing the Peanuts cartoon, and he had a dish of peppermint patties at his desk, and he goes, I think I'll create a character called Peppermint Patty. So he came to the name before he came to the character Peppermint Patty. The comic strip character debuted on Peanuts on August 22nd, 1966. There you go. So you can celebrate it both ways if you want. Happy Peppermint Patty Day. Let's move on to today in history. Pretty interesting things happened on this date. 226 years ago, on February 11, 1794, the first session of the United States Senate was held that was actually open to the public. Yeah, for the first 5 years, the Senate met in private. I kid you not. You could not go to the Senate hearings. They thought it was not decorous enough to have people in the Senate chamber. Now, the House of Representatives, of course, that was open to the public. You could go in the gallery and watch them all yell and scream at each other, which is pretty much what they did. And the Senate said, that's so beneath us. We're not going to tell anybody what we're doing behind closed doors. But eventually it got worse and worse. People say, come on, you got to open up. You got to open up your sessions so people can watch. So who was the first employee hired by the Senate? The doorkeeper, to keep people out. But by 1794, the doorkeeper was out of a job. Anyway, yeah, for the first 5 years, you couldn't go to the Senate. You couldn't sit in the gallery and watch. But starting on this date in 1794, you could, and you would probably just nod off as they debated important things. February 11th, 1939. 81 years ago today, a Lockheed P-38 Lightning flew from California to New York. It took 7 hours and 2 minutes. This plane could fly. This is one of the huge breakthroughs in American aviation because the P-38 Lightning was considered one of the easiest planes to fly. It was idiot-proof. You could do all kinds of things with it and the plane wouldn't fall apart, and it was really fast. The funny thing about this flight that took place 81 years ago today from California to New York that got there in just 7 hours and 2 minutes, unfortunately, the pilot did not, in his reservations, order food, so he ended up with stale peanuts and a warm Coke. And his luggage ended up in Chicago. February 3rd, 1963, 57 years ago today, I'm a Beatles fan. In the span of 10 hours, the Beatles recorded 10 songs that would make up their very first album entitled Please, Please Me. They had already recorded 3 songs. They recorded 10 more. The session was over. They were kicking back. The producer came in, said, we only got 13 songs. We need to have 14 songs for the album. Can you do one more? The Beatles were tired. John Lennon's throat was so raw he could barely talk, and they said, nerds to it. Let's do Twist and Shout. And so they hooked up their instruments, put the mics out there. They launched into Twist and Shout. John Lennon was only able to do 2 takes until his voice went completely out. And of course, it became such a huge success, it became indispensable to the Beatles act for the rest of their career. Their first album was recorded on this date 57 years ago today. I was there February 11th, 1990 in Las Vegas, Nevada. The fight took place in Tokyo, Japan. I'm talking about one of the greatest upsets in sports history. 42-1 underdog Buster Douglas knocked out the undefeated, unbeatable Ironman Mike Tyson in Tokyo to win the heavyweight championship of the world. My friend Greg and I were in Las Vegas. We were on a road trip. We had no dough. We were charging gasoline to a credit card we weren't going to be able to pay back. We had no food money. And Greg, God bless him, said, let's put money down on Buster Douglas. It's 42-1. What do we have to lose? If he wins, we're in like Flynn. He won. We took home a lot of money and had a lot of fun. Buster Douglas knocked out Mike Tyson 30 years ago today, and I watched it at the Caesars Sportsbook in Las Vegas, one of the great memories of my life. Finally, February 11th, 1999, it was 21 years ago today that Pluto crossed Neptune's orbit, which ended a 20-year period between 1979 and 1999 when Neptune was farthest from the sun. Now, Pluto, of course, is farthest from the sun, but in the meantime, Pluto got downgraded from a planet to a dwarf planet, and it doesn't even count anymore. By the way, the next time Pluto will be inside of Neptune's orbit will be in another 228 years. I will not be here for that. Let's do some birthdays for you at 29 minutes after the hour. I mentioned one of the obscure holidays today is Inventor's Day. The most well-known inventor of them all, I would say, is probably Thomas Edison. He was born in this state in 1847, died of diabetes at the age of 84. In 1931, 1,093 patents. He developed the phonograph, the light bulb, motion pictures. I mean, when you think of inventors in this country, you think of Thomas Edison as one of the great American success stories. From a personal standpoint, he was a bit odd. There's a brand new biography on Thomas Edison. It came out a couple of months ago. If you're into biographies, it's a must-read. Thomas Edison, probably the greatest inventor in this country's history, born in the state in 1847. We miss Leslie Nielsen. We do. Born in Canada, became a great American actor, was born in the state in 1926. We lost Leslie 10 years ago at the age of 84. His breakthrough role, of course, was in Forbidden Planet, the sci-fi film of the 1950s. He was the captain on the original production of the Poseidon Adventure. In 1972, he was in all kinds of television programs as a serious actor of great drama and gravitas. And then along came Airplane, and it changed his career. And then, of course, the Naked Gun series, the TV show, and the movies. Leslie Nielsen. Guy was a genius, born in the state of 1926. Ginger is 86 years old today. Tina Louise, of course, alongside Dawn Wells, who played Mary Ann on Gilligan's Island. She's one of the last two surviving cast members. Tina Louise is 86 years old today. She had a troubled history with Gilligan's Island. Didn't attend any of the cast reunions or the reunion movies that they did in the 70s and the 80s, but eventually she came to terms with it. Happy 86 to Tina Louise. Burt Reynolds, born in the state in 1936. We lost Burt a couple of years ago at the age of 82. Pretty well-known television. And then, of course, along came Deliverance, the great 1972 thriller. That was his breakthrough role. And throughout the 70s, he did The Longest Yard, Smokey and the Bandit, Semi-Tough, the Cannonball Run series, and then he moved on to television with Evening Shade, got an Academy Award nomination for Boogie Nights. He was the #1 box office draw in the world for the 5-year period of 1978 to 1982. Burt Reynolds, born in the state of 1936. And Sheryl Crow, all she wants to do is have some fun, if it makes you happy. Sheryl Crow, great singer-songwriter. Now she acts, 58 years old today. All right, 32 minutes after the hour. Going to take a break. Best wishes to our friend Mike Mad Dog Magnotti. He's getting a new hip as we speak, but he's got an opinion which he recorded before he got a new hip. We got Mike Magnotti coming up with another opinion, and of course my conversation with our friends at Confluence Health, Dr. Tara Anderson and Emma Philley. Tara and Emma are going to talk about migraine headaches. It's an important subject. That's coming up right after Mike Magnotti's opinion. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on this February 11th from Studio 2 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life channel.
My name is Lacey Haggerty, and I'm a nurse midwife with Columbia Valley Community Health. I love all aspects of my job because it is a profession that's very committed to empowering women to make decisions in their health care that feel best for them. It's incredibly valuable to me as a midwife that I get to take care of women throughout their whole lifespan. I hope to see you at a future visit because I know you'll love having midwifery care.
Bring the whole family up to Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house in historic downtown Chelan. Applewood smoked brisket, street-style tacos, and our award-winning barbecue rubs and sauces. Our meals pair perfectly with our exciting lineup of craft ales, made right here in Chelan. We've got room for big groups, or give us a call for catering. So grab the kids and check out the fun at Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house located in the heart of Chelan.
My name is Anaisa Lemus, and I teach at John Newberry Elementary. I had a tooth in the front that was just always causing me problems. It was just happening so regularly. I went to go get a root canal done, and the root canal didn't help a whole lot because then it came back. Both of my parents went to Dr. Divis's office. They really recommended him because he had done such a great job on their teeth. I went and really have had a really pleasant experience with him. He just made me feel really at ease with everything. He was really confident with what he was doing. He said, this is one of his favorite parts of his job, which really made it easier for me because, when you're really passionate about something, they're going to do a good job. As a teacher, my students, I'll tell them randomly sometimes, oh yeah, with my fake tooth, they're always so shocked. Like, what? It looks like your real tooth. And I'm really happy with the results now.
This is Dr. John Divis. Please call us today.
My name is Brian Thorpe. I own Global Car Care in Wenatchee and have been here for about 25 years.
Brian started Global Car Care as Brian's automotive alternative on Orondo Street.
Some customers were following Brian since Brian's automotive time.
No, we're just grateful to be part of this community. This is where I grew up. We want to do our part to be a valuable part of this community. We want to thank you for trusting our business for 25 years.
matter what the season is, the weather is always fine at Wenatchee Valley Mall. Come explore the stores today. Wenatchee Valley Mall in East Wenatchee and online at WenatcheeValleyMall.com.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog McNally, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, I'm not rich by any means, but, I do know where I'm going to go to sleep tonight. It'll be in a warm, safe place. I have a pretty good job. My car starts right away, and I have more than enough clothes to wear, believe it or not. Now, all in all, my life is pretty comfortable. And I like it that once in a while, my wife and I can afford to go out to eat. And so when I do, I leave at least a 20% tip. I figure for some weight persons, this might be their first entry-level job. My waitress might be a single mom or a single dad, The waiter or waitress might be somebody working a second job just to make ends meet. So always, and especially when I say grace at a restaurant, particularly then, I try to be a good tipper. God forbid a waitress should think that Christians are only generous with their talk. Now, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnati, and that's my opinion.
Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning has been proudly serving the Wenatchee Valley for over 35 years. And just as Dick's has been there for you, they have also been an essential part of our community, supporting local youth sports all year long and your Wenatchee Wild.
Thanks for your support. Thanks, Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, for all your support. Thank you.
Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, your local, independent, trained comfort specialist. Call 884-6444 today.
Winter is a great time to trade in your current hot tub. Turn your old hot tub into money with Blue Lagoon Pool & Spa's trade-in program. And with Blue Lagoon's home show pricing, you can save $500 to $1,000 off of any new artesian spa or take advantage of a free Bluetooth music experience. Blue Lagoon Pool & Spa recommends draining your hot tub every 3 months. Ask us about our drain and refill special for only $99. Stop on by Blue Lagoon Pool & Spa today.
Contractors, furniture makers, and weekend do-it-yourselfers around north central Washington will tell you that Lombard's Hardwood Supply is the place to get what you need. Lombard's full millwork shop can handle jobs large or small. Lombard's has a full line of interior and exterior doors available, as well as custom barn doors. From alderwood to zebrawood and everything in between, it's Lombard's Hardwood Supply on School Street in Sunny Slope. Like us on Facebook and check out our monthly special.
Highlander Grill and Golf Course is known as one of the finest wedding venues in the Wenatchee area. You do not have to be a member to come to Highlander. Highlander Golf Course offers a first-class backdrop for your wedding day. Our friendly professional staff will ensure your wedding and reception is picture perfect, from every moment leading up to the I do's to when the lights go down at the end of your reception. Hi, I'm Shalane, site coordinator for Highlander Grill. Give me a call to schedule your event today.
Oh, welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I'm Dan Kuntz, your host. Our friends from Confluence Health are great participants in Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We've interviewed some really interesting people talking about your body, your earthly vessel. Let's take care of it. Today's topic is migraine headaches and the migraine clinic at Confluence Health. To my far, far left is Emma Philley, and to my immediate left, as God is my witness, it's Tara Anderson. You like that little Gone with the Wind joke there?
Nice.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. We're talking about migraine headaches, but first things first, because you're newbies, introduce yourselves to our television family. Emma, you go first. Talk just a little background about yourself.
My name's Emma, and I'm the nurse at the migraine clinic.
Okay.
I've been there for about a year now.
And my name is Tara Anderson. I just recently moved here from Southern California, background in internal medicine, the microbiome, and then I had the opportunity to run this migraine clinic, and because of the gut-brain axis, I said yes.
Oh, cool. What brought you from beautiful Southern California to beautiful Wenatchee town?
Quality of life.
Yeah, isn't it a cool place to live?
Yeah, it is.
Except the traffic's terrible here. You probably figured that out.
That's funny.
We were talking off camera to Tara here about migraines, and here at the Broadcast Metroplex, a lot of our coworkers spend an inordinate amount of time, in fact, their entire working day, staring at computer screens, and we always are dealing with migraines on a regular basis. In fact, we've had people who have never had migraines, who are now working in a profession that requires them to stare at computer screens all day, and now they get migraines. What the heck is that all about? Is it is the migraine clinic booming? I'm assuming it is.
It comes in phases,
Okay.
you know, and also weather is a huge trigger for this cycle of migraine. The migraine brain is vascularly different than someone who doesn't suffer from migraine. And then when you are faced with a trigger that allows the inflammatory loop to start, it's one of those things that's, you know, really hard to break.
I had one migraine in my life, and it lasted about 6 weeks, and it was agony. It was agony. I've never had it before, and I've never had it since. Knock on wood. But those, especially when it's at its peak for about 2.5 weeks there, Tara, it was I almost couldn't function as a human being.
Yeah.
Everything was hard. Everything was hard.
It's debilitating.
Yeah, it's debilitating. It's absolutely debilitating. So whenever I hear somebody say I have a migraine, I understand completely because I've had them. There is no one-all catch-all of what causes a migraine, is there?
Well, there's a lot of really good data and really good science behind what causes migraine and different epicenters within the brain of where certain neurotransmitters are residing and how those inflammatory cascades get turned on and off. But the basic inflammatory cascade actually starts in the gut before it ever gets to the brain. So if we focus on healing the gut, that translates into you having lesser migraine. You know, and one of the reasons why Dr. Freed wanted to start the migraine clinic in the first place is because the worst place for a migraine sufferer to be seen is in a walk-in clinic or an emergency room setting. You know, they're already suffering, and all of the sounds and the lights and smells and loudness of everything, it just exacerbates the issue, you know. So this migraine clinic is a baby born to, you know, help these people have a safe, quiet place to come to get them to migraine freedom as soon as possible.
And having a migraine leads to other things like sleeplessness and irritability and fatigue and things like that. Can you head up migraine off at the pass? Oh, there's one coming. Let's do this now and I won't get it. Emma, Doc, anybody want to tackle that?
Yeah, our protocol really is tailored to people that are having that acute migraine pain or that acute migraine episode. And so if, you know, a lot of times migraine sufferers have what's called aura. And so that's neurological symptoms that come before the headache. And so sometimes we'll have patients that will come in just having aura. And, you know, we can help them to kind of, like you said, to head it off at the pass. So that is something that we offer. But really it's for that acute pain.
What for the people like me, and I'll use myself as an example. I had never, this was, probably 15 years ago easily. I'd never had a migraine before. It came on, it completely incapacitated me for a couple of weeks, although I still kept going to work. I did everything. I went to the doctor, they did the x-rays and the scans and everything. They never could fight, and then it just slowly, gradually went away until one day it was gone. I've never had one since. Is that typical?
No.
Okay.
That's actually very atypical.
Okay.
And you're very lucky that when that trigger got turned on, that somehow it got turned back off.
Okay.
Right? To not allow you to keep having this continual episode that usually it just becomes, you know, I never had one before, and all of a sudden, you know, I have this migraine, and now it becomes, oh, now I'm having 2 a month, and now it's like, now I'm having 1 a week, and now fast forward, and it's like every 3 days somebody is suffering from migraine. That's the typical cascade.
And I know this is going to sound like a stupid question, but how do you treat a migraine? Is everybody different? Because everybody's earthly vessel is different? Everybody's different.
Slightly different. Everybody has...
Does that crap work?
Yes.
Okay.
No, this crap doesn't work.
Good. I like a physician who tells the truth.
Yeah, so there's so much insurmountable data that shows, especially coming out of the research of the microbiome, that's been very, very, very promising in moving forward with medicine, that NSAIDs in any form, that would mean ibuprofen, Motrin, Advil, Aleve, naproxen, naproxen, Excedrin, anything that's an aspirin product, pokes microscopic holes through the gut lining, tearing apart these little tiny structures called gap junctions, creating leaky gut over the long term of exposure. The other risk at taking anything over the counter is that when you take NSAIDs back to back over 3 days, you put yourself at risk for having a medication overuse rebound headache. So now you're not suffering from just migraine. Now you're suffering from a rebound headache that feels like a tight band around your head. So we can break them, but everybody's different. Everybody has different disease processes that, you know, that they're dealing with, and different allergies to things. So we tailor everything specific to what each person has.
So everybody's treated a little bit different, but give me a Joe six-pack, an average treatment of, I have a migraine, so this is our course of treatment that we're going to do for you, Bob. Start from scratch. Give me, is there an average way? Something like
So the typical treatment is about an hour and a half. We use a lot of IV medications. It's just faster, and if you're 10 out of 10 pain, that's nice. And then we usually see people over the course of 3 days, but it's not necessary that everybody comes in 3 days in a row. But typically, it takes more than one time.
Do you like your job? I mean,
Love my job.
What is it about this and the pain that comes with this that intrigues you as a physician, as somebody that does this?
One huge thing is I really appreciate being at Confluence, because they really have created this platform to allow us to be able to even provide something like this at the level that we're providing it to the community. It's huge. And then the other is, Emma will say quite often, we're putting ourselves out of business because we really do strive to get you to migraine freedom. And we've been pretty successful at being able to get probably 90% of our patients there. And so to be in a place where I can really focus on healing up the gut, that translates to less migraine. And not just less migraine, but it's less chronic pain all over. Less irritable bowel, which usually is associated with migraine. It just hits a lot of comorbidities that patients are suffering from, and taking a lot of medication for that's kind of unnecessary.
Using my case as an example, at what point do you go, okay, this is a headache as opposed to this is a migraine? Where does that cross the line?
There's a significant difference in headache to migraine. Headache might be a little inconvenient and uncomfortable. Migraine is debilitating. You cannot open your eyes. You cannot even tolerate sound. It's just a completely different level of sensitivity that is a pain syndrome that's off the scale. It's not even in the same ballpark. Yeah.
And yet the first thing we do when people get a headache is they grab me a couple of aspirins or some ibuprofens and thinking they're doing the job, and it's not.
If you live in Wenatchee, come to the migraine clinic before you grab the Excedrin. Let us help you.
And before we talk about the location, the hours of operation, I want to wrap up really where we began, because this is where we are in the year 2020. We're staring at screens, we're staring at monitors, and again, just from the example that I have with my coworkers, is this a continuing problem? Is this a problem of people looking at electronic devices all day and all night?
Absolutely. The green screen and blue screen that's feeding through the technology that causes this overstimulation in the brain absolutely contributes to inflammation. So that's one of the first things I have to take off the table, minimize, especially in the midst of acute migraine. Absolutely.
So are we making progress, medically speaking, on treating migraines, or is it that? So
yes,
absolutely.
So what's different in the treatment of migraines now as to say 10 years ago? What's changed in the treatment of migraines?
Well, it probably depends on the provider that you ask, because a lot of providers will say there's so much cutting edge biologics out there that are helping. My opinion is the absolute groundbreaking research of the microbiome. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, we did not know that there were bacterial species that turn on and off gene regulation for pain. Specifically, this specific gene receptors for migraine. So knowing that, well, if we can heal that and treat that, then that makes treatment far more effective with way less exposure to medication.
So you get a powerful headache, you go to your primary care physician, and your primary care physician says, we think you might be a good person for the migraine clinic, right? Where do we go from there, Emma? What happens now?
Well, right now we're seeing people that have already been diagnosed with migraine. So anyone can go through Confluence Health, they can go onto MyChart and log into that, and if they see migraine on their problems list, then that means that they've been diagnosed, and so they would be able to come in to see us for treatment.
I asked the good doctor a while ago who was the physical therapist. I'll ask you. Give me a migraine treatment success story. Somebody who just was dealing with chronic migraines for a long period of time, and you were able to take care of them, and now the migraines are, if not eliminated altogether, certainly no longer much of an issue. Give me a success story.
I'm going to let you take that one because there's
several.
Yeah,
there's several. So we have, I'll talk about one patient in particular with her permission. We have a patient that was having like 10 to 15 migraines a month.
Oh, wow.
And so that's almost half of her days. And we've heard over and over again migraine patients being marginalized. And when you're in 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 pain for that long, you just kind of deal with it. And so I think a lot of times physicians, in the emergency room or in the walk-in, will look at a patient and say, well, you're not hurting that bad, right? Because for anybody else that doesn't have pain like this, every day, they would be in a puddle, crying or throwing up, which some of our patients do. But, and these patients aren't like that, but they live that way. And so I think that it's really easy for them to get marginalized. And we've had a patient who was trying to navigate this medical world kind of on her own, and going through referrals through neurology and dealing with doctor's office visits and trialing medications and just kind of getting tired of the circus. And we were there for her, treating her acute attacks, but also, letting her call us and check in with us, talking to her about, triggers and nutrition and all of these things, that, because like you said, migraine is complicated, And so helping her with that part of it and treating her acute attacks, but also helping her with, navigating this kind of circus, these loops that she had to jump through, and seeing her through the course of probably 9 months, go from 10 or 15 headache days a month to freedom. Wow. It's been really, really neat to be a part of. Yeah.
And it's probably why you do what you do now. You have those good days. You go home and I help somebody out.
Yeah. We take it pretty personal.
It sounds like you do. Yeah. So for more information, what do they do? Say, hey, I got migraines. I think maybe this clinic might help me out. Where do they go from this point?
Migraine needs to be diagnosed
Okay.
already on the problem list because we're an acute treatment center,
Right.
and it's a walk-in basis only, no appointment needed. We are located at Central Washington Hospital campus, just above the eye clinics,
Okay.
just right outside of the lab, and internal medicine and women's health check-in, and that's literally the desk that you check in at. Walk in, we're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. And, we spend about an hour and a half to 2 hours with, so that's what you would plan to be there for. But, please come.
Yeah.
We'd love to help you.
Sounds like you like your job.
Yeah, we do.
Very much.
Emma, it's nice meeting you. Tara, as God is my witness, you're doing a great job. I just can't gone with the wind, folks. What can you do? You're watching. Thanks for coming by. We appreciate it. You're watching Wake Up on Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
This is Caitlin Hedershe, the producer of the NCW Life magazine. Each week, I'm bringing you a look behind the scenes of the faces, places, and events that make North Central Washington the place we call home. Tune in every weekday for an in-depth look at a new topic each week. From local artists in their studios to businesses breaking barriers that might surprise you and everything in between. Join me on the NCW Life magazine right here on the NCW Life channel.
Oh, that's awesome. Look at that. Yeah.
There he is. Sure wish he was here.
Yeah, no kidding. Little 4-point. It's a nice kokanee.
Solid fish.
Watch the Northwest Outdoorsman with Richie Herod Saturdays and Sundays at 6 a.m., 9:30 a.m., and 4:30 p.m. on the NCW Life channel. The Cottage Inn has been a Wenatchee Valley landmark since 1940, making it one of the longest-running locally owned restaurants around. And it's better than ever. Steak, seafood, and their famous homemade desserts for dinner, wonderful lunch items and breakfast on Sundays, all made from scratch and at an affordable price. It's no wonder the Cottage Inn has been so popular for over 75 years. Enjoy a fabulous meal today at the Cottage Inn on Easy Street in Old Station.
I'm Jenny Rojanasatian, and this is Guada TV. Every week we will be bringing you a first look at North Central Washington business, tech, and education news. You'll hear from local influencers and innovators who live right here in the Valley. Together, we'll discuss hot topics, current events, and resources that can support your business, our schools, and this community. Join me every week, and let's get inspired.
Coming home should never be a chore. Let Merry Maids of Wenatchee customize all your cleaning needs. Weekly, bi-weekly, special occasion. Do you have a vacation home that needs cleaning? We clean them too. Locally owned and operated, let Merry Maids do the cleaning while you focus on your family and friends. Merry Maids has special offers to fit your budget. Request your free cleaning estimate today. 509-663-1710.
The world around us is constantly changing. Major employers in North Central Washington have expressed a need for capable, qualified engineering technologists who can think critically and solve problems. And at Wenatchee Valley College, we listened. We are pleased to offer a Bachelor of Applied Science Engineering Technology degree to provide you with a world of new opportunities. Your time is now. The future is waiting for you.
And we're back on this Tuesday, the 11th day of February, 2020. I'm Dan Kuntz. I think I'm pretty much back into the swing of things after being gone for a while. Let's wrap up the program where we began the program with the weather forecast. First slide provided to us early this morning from the National Weather Service gives us an idea of what we can expect for the rest of the week. And really pretty quiet at all. It's going to be sunny. It's going to be dry at least through Wednesday. Just a little couple of light snow showers, I should say, in the mountains. Some light patchy morning fog. A very weak storm system comes by Thursday. A second weaker system even still over the weekend. But for the most part, things are going to be very quiet. And as I mentioned at the top, this is such a difference, 180-degree difference between February of last year when we had over 2 feet of snow on the ground and it was bitterly cold and we never got above freezing for most of the month, and we've been in the 40s. We hit 57 degrees at one time during the point of this month. It's an entirely different story, February 2020 from February of 2019. So as far as the weather's concerned, from our friends at Patriot Plumbing, Heating and Cooling, they give your home a hug. Look at those orbs out there. That means sunshine. Things are looking good. High today of about 45 degrees. The one thing that we don't show graphically, it's going to be a little breezy at times today. A northwest wind about 5 to 13 miles an hour. Outside of that, high pressure is large and in charge. Tonight, overnight low of about 31, clear skies. Sunshine, 44 degrees. Expected on Wednesday, a little bit cooler than what we had yesterday. We had 48 yesterday, officially measured out at Pangbourne. Few clouds come in Wednesday night. Thursday, it's going to be cloudy. This is the system I was talking about. Little chance, just a slight chance of a rain-snow mix. I'm not betting on it at all. As you can see, we'll cool down to about 42 degrees. Thursday night, the clouds will begin to part. We go right back to the sunshine on Friday, looking good with a high of 44. All of these temperatures above normal, by the way, your afternoon highs. Saturday, we go back to a few clouds. Snow level is going to be about 1,000 feet, but there's really nothing out there. If we get any kind of precipitation at all, it'll probably be in the form of rain on Saturday, and really not that much at all. And a high of 43 degrees, lots of sunshine. Sunday and a high of 45. Monday, a week from yesterday, is President's Day. A lot of people will be taking that day off. Of course, it's a federal holiday, and it'll be lots of sunshine and a high of 44 degrees. So slap on the skis and head on up to Mission Ridge. No complaints at all about the weather forecast. Passes are fine, by the way. You got no advisories, no restrictions across the board on I-90 Stevens or Blue Pass. They're good. You're bare and dry. No snow at all in the forecast in the mountain passes all the way through Thursday. They're going to get about 2 to 3 inches of snow in the mountain passes on Thursday, and then a couple of inches maybe on Friday or Thursday night. And that's really it. So we're looking good. It's good to be back. Everybody have a fantabulous Tuesday. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.